Last time, we got to see Broly meet Goku for the first time again. And due to how differently the Buu saga went, Goku is still dead. So how will things change going forward? We'll cover all that and more in this fourth part of What If Z Broly Turned Good. A couple years pass after the Buu saga, and Beerus eventually wakes up from his slumber. He can't quite remember what he was dreaming of, but he knows it involved a Saiyan, so he tries to look around for any Saiyans. Apparently there's a really strong dead one who lives on King Kai's planet, and it's also kind of interesting that there's a Saiyan in heaven, because usually they just go to hell. So Beerus decides to check that out, and ends up meeting Goku. Goku has grown a lot stronger in the meantime, but obviously not going to be strong enough to make a difference against Beerus. Still, he'd probably leave a pretty good impression, and Beerus would think he's powerful for mortal standards. Although, the more important thing is that he learns that there's other Saiyans out there. They all live on Earth right now, and Goku tells him about one specific one named BROLY. Goku's not really too sure what his power is, but it's something called the legendary Super Saiyan, and this piques Beerus' interest. He knows he was dreaming about something like that. He couldn't really put his finger on what it was, and he felt like it was called a Super Saiyan God or something, but maybe it was that. Maybe it was legendary Super Saiyan. I mean, just look at the name, it sounds legendary. So, the next stop for Beerus is Earth, of course. It was nice to meet Goku, though, and maybe he'll see more of him. King Kai decides it's best to warn everyone on Earth, so he does that, and Goku tries to speak to them too. He can't really go there because he already used his day from Baba, but hopefully they're going to be okay. As for the time frame, we'll just say that this does happen around the same exact time, so Beerus shows up during Bulma's birthday party. And things start pretty normally too. Majin Buu is actually here this time, so there's going to be a pudding incident too, I'd assume. The good thing is Beerus already knows who he's looking for. He was enjoying the festivities of this party, but now it's time to fight. From what he heard, Broly's the legendary Super Saiyan. Now, he has no clue what a legendary Super Saiyan is, but he thinks that might be what he's looking for. Although he feels like he had a different name in mind. But whatever that name was, he's kind of forgetting it, and maybe this is actually the correct name. So he immediately starts to fight Broly. Learning more about his power and what he's capable of, Broly also explains how he got here. And Beerus is really excited to see his power now, and he can't wait any longer. He wants Broly to go all out right from the start. So Broly obliges, transforming into his legendary Super Saiyan form once more. He hasn't used this since the Buu saga, at least not in an actual battle. He's of course trained with it a bunch, he's grown a lot more accustomed to it, and now he feels a lot safer using it. After using it against Buu, he finally realized he actually can control this. And he's trained over the past few years as well. There's such a huge gap in power between him and everyone else. Since Goku remained dead and is basically training 24/7, he's grown a lot too, and that's who Beerus is going to compare him to. But Beerus is really surprised at how much stronger Broly is. When Goku said he was stronger, he didn't think it would be by this much. As the legendary Super Saiyan with all these years of training with great training partners on Earth as well, Broly's not only grown stronger but has become a much more well-rounded fighter too. And by far, Beerus could tell that he's the strongest mortal. And Beerus doesn't even realize that this isn't what he was looking for. Of course, he was looking for the Super Saiyan God. So Beerus did have a dream about the Super Saiyan God. The thing is, he's not meeting the Super Saiyan God right now. But he assumes that this does line up with his dream. So little does Beerus know, this isn't even who he's looking to fight. But he fits the bill. He's some sort of legend. And sure, he's not as strong as Beerus, but he's far stronger than any other mortal, and Beerus actually does have to try a little bit, which is unheard of. He's only using a small fraction of his power, but against all the other mortals, like Goku for example, and probably Vegeta and Gohan who I'd assume he'd fight, he barely needed to try. Broly actually does have a lot of power. So that settles it. Beerus is definitely going to keep Earth around, and Broly's going to be his rival. He considers this a very productive day. He found a great planet with great food, and a Saiyan who seems to be the strongest mortal in this universe. But still, something's bugging Beerus. Like, the fact that this guy isn't a godly rival. He at least expected that, but maybe that's going to come in the future. Although, if he were to train under Whis, Broly could probably get access to Godly Ki, because right now, Beerus doesn't feel any of that within him. But that's all he needed right now. He returns to his planet, and says he will be back here eventually. Not just for Broly, but for the food too, of course. So, I don't think it's even fair to call this the Battle of Gods arc, because Beerus was the only god in that fight. No Super Saiyan God was born, and no one has access to Godly Ki yet. Although seeing this fight, it makes Vegeta realize how truly far behind he is. He knows Broly's gifted, like he's long accepted this. Broly's been on Earth for over a decade by this point. Vegeta's the third strongest right now behind Gohan, who's far behind Broly. But Gohan's kind of dialing it back a bit because now he's starting a family, and he's training consistently. He does have something to fight for, but now he's a little bit busier, so maybe Vegeta has a chance to pull ahead right now, even with Gohan's great potential. He and Gohan were trying to work towards Super Saiyan 3, but they didn't access it for themselves yet, especially because they were aware of some sort of flaw. Goku did mention that using it would consume so much power that it would shorten his time on Earth, and they realized that the form might be very draining. They don't really know the extent to which it is actually draining though, because they only saw a dead Goku fight as it, not a living Goku. That's where they're aiming next, but maybe there's something even beyond that. And Vegeta really wants to find what his next course of action is, especially if Super Saiyan 3 is not going to be reliable for him. And all the while, after meeting Beerus, Goku decides to do his own research in Otherworld, because Beerus did mention something interesting to him. He wanted to fight a godly Saiyan rival. Through King Kai, he watched the battle between Broly and Beerus, and he also picked up on what they were saying. So maybe there is something missing. He feels like Beerus didn't truly get what he was looking for. Could there be some sort of godly Super Saiyan power out there that Goku doesn't know of? There's only going to be one way to find out. He really needs to start doing his research, and he's in the perfect place to do so. Otherworld is very rich in terms of historical knowledge. There's a bunch of people here that might know these sort of legends. And after being here for so long, he's definitely made a bunch of great connections, not just with mortals that came here, but also the gods that are in Otherworld, such as the other Kaio and even guardians from other planets. Well, looks like his best course of action is asking anyone who's even remotely related to a god. Plus, he's going to do a bunch of extra training too. Some time passes. Beerus eventually does return to Earth, enjoying some food there, and he also brings BROLY back to his planet with him. He's going to be training under Whis. But before BROLY leaves, Vegeta butts in. He's going to try and get on Beerus' radar. Now, in terms of power, he doesn't think Beerus has any reason to choose him, because BROLY is so far ahead of him, so he'll try to get Beerus' attention another way, through food. Here he actually has an advantage. Capsule Corp has no shortage of chefs, and Vegeta has been practicing cooking himself a bit too. So with the food, he tries to convince Beerus and Whis, and he promises them, if they ever come back to Earth again, he'll make sure they get the best food, and they'll always be trying something different. I think this would be enough to sway Beerus, especially because he really likes food as a gift. And even though Vegeta is much weaker than BROLY, he'll take Vegeta along because he does have knowledge about the Saiyans, and maybe he could help BROLY find something new. It wouldn't really hurt to take Vegeta. Also, he makes BROLY put a good word in for him. Not realizing the irony in this because the whole reason he met Vegeta in the first place was because he was going to kill him. It's nice to see how far he's come. Although Beerus doesn't really see how Vegeta is going to end up being his rival or anything, but he guesses it wouldn't hurt taking him to his planet. A little bit more time passes. BROLY and Vegeta fight on here a lot, and of course BROLY does have to hold back a bunch, using just his regular Super Saiyan form, while Vegeta uses Super Saiyan 2 and eventually Super Saiyan 3, then realizing the massive flaw with Super Saiyan 3. But he worked towards this because he wants to push himself as much as he can, and he really can't think of anything else. But after some time, Vegeta stumbled upon something really strange. By training under Whis, he and BROLY eventually do pick up on Godly Ki. Combine that with the fact that they're constantly training, and each of them grows in a different way. For BROLY, that Godly Ki gets absorbed within him. He gets a decent boost from it, but he doesn't get a new form. The reason I'm going this route is because I don't know if the legendary Super Saiyan form would be compatible with Godly Ki like that, at least in the sense that it was with Goku and Vegeta. It will be compatible in some other way, but for now he's not getting the Super Saiyan God form. So it's not that it doesn't do anything for him, it's just that BROLY's going down a completely different path from Vegeta because his power is just innately different. As for Vegeta though, he gets something new. He ends up unlocking a brand new form, a completely godly Super Saiyan form, which Beerus dubs Super Saiyan God. That's what he dreamt of. That's what he was thinking of. This whole time, BROLY wasn't actually his rival, although he's really powerful and Beerus does like that he's here. But that's what he was looking for, the Super Saiyan God. And this is new. And Whis wonders why they couldn't find that before. Maybe Vegeta just needed the Godly Ki to jumpstart it. But both of them are pretty surprised. It's a good thing Vegeta got it because Beerus wasn't even really looking for it anymore. What does that mean for BROLY though? What kind of godly form will he get? Right after Vegeta transforms, someone teleports in. It's Goku. He doesn't realize that he ended up on Beerus' planet, but he actually sensed this ki. Actually, both of them. He felt BROLY as a legendary Super Saiyan, and Vegeta as some sort of new godly form. Well, first off, Beerus thinks this is incredibly rude. He knows Goku, but he should erase him for just coming here uninvited. But he has a question for Goku. How did he get here? Well, into transmission, of course. He could teleport to wherever he senses energy, and he felt Vegeta's power. Wait, he felt Vegeta's power? He's using a godly form, though. A mortal shouldn't be able to feel that. Goku does apologize because he didn't realize he wasn't supposed to come here. He didn't know exactly where Vegeta was. But he explains. Yeah, he can sense Godly Ki, because he figured out the exact same thing Vegeta did, and that's why he came here. He sensed Vegeta was somewhere that wasn't the living world, and he was using a godly form, so he decided it would be worth it to head over here. He's been training the same way and completely changed his outlook. Plus, thanks to him being dead, he's been training 24/7, and he had a head start. Vegeta had to spend some time waiting for Beerus to return to Earth, but basically right after meeting Beerus, Goku started his own training. And by asking around in Otherworld and learning more info about the Saiyans, Goku eventually heard of something brand new, the legend of the Super Saiyan God. Apparently the form could be obtained through a ritual, and there weren't any Saiyans around him that he could use. There were some in the living world, of course, which would have been perfect, but he didn't need to do that. Plus, he wanted to see if he can go about it another way too. This kind of annoys Vegeta a bit, because why wouldn't he tell him? And Goku did have a pretty good reason. He wanted to see if the form could be obtained through some other means first, because he knows doing it through a ritual wouldn't be satisfying, especially if there was another method that came down the line. And Goku then transforms. Through training and picking up on Godly Ki, he accessed this form as well. It was a bit tougher, especially because he didn't have Beerus and Whis around him constantly. But he's in a place full of amazing warriors, and he actually ran into some that had Godly Ki themselves. But he didn't think it would lead to this. Beerus is really impressed. He's using all the perks of Otherworld. Although he wishes he found out Goku was a Super Saiyan God sooner, but it does make sense. He never checked in on Goku. That was his own fault, because he did see that Goku was a pretty great warrior even though he was weak by his standards. So Goku then asks where they are. Beerus explains that this is his planet and it's a completely separate realm. So even though Goku is dead, Beerus decides that Goku can stay here if he wants, and he could teleport between here and Otherworld. Meanwhile, King Kai's freaking out because Goku just teleported away, and he realizes that Goku probably teleported directly to Beerus. But he eventually finds out that Beerus keeps Goku around, and now there's 3 Saiyans on his planet: Goku, Vegeta, and BROLY. It's a shame Goku can't go to the living world because, well, he's dead. But at least he can go here and see BROLY and Vegeta a bunch. Not to mention, train a lot more, especially because he's dead and he doesn't need to sleep. So while BROLY and Vegeta sleep, Goku trains away. While those three are training on Beerus' planet, the Dragon Balls are gathered on Earth by the Frieza Force, and they revive Frieza. Frieza spends a little bit of time training, and then heads back to Earth. From his army, he hears that there is some Saiyan that destroyed an entire galaxy or something. They don't know the full details, but that confuses Frieza. A Saiyan destroying a whole galaxy? First of all, what Saiyan would even be capable of that? And second of all, there's another out there? Well, he'll deal with that later. First, he'll get his revenge, and maybe he will find some clues about who this other Saiyan is. He heads back to Earth, ready to kill Goku. But when he gets there, there's no Goku. There's no Vegeta either, and no Broly. Not that he even knows who that is. And you might think Earth is unprepared right now, but no, they're perfectly fine. Piccolo's stronger than normal, and so is Gohan. Gohan never really stopped training. Even though he pulled back a bit because of his family, that was only recently, and he didn't grow weaker. He just slowed his growth a bit. So ever since defeating Cell, Gohan's only been growing stronger and stronger, and he feels like he can take on Frieza here. The two of them start to fight, and it becomes pretty clear right away that Frieza has grown stronger, but not strong enough to defeat Gohan, at least as he is right now. Gohan fights Final Form Frieza and doesn't even need to transform, but Frieza then reveals that he has a new form, showcasing his golden form. Gohan didn't really expect that, but he's confident here. This is exactly the type of thing he trained for. When they were scared about Broly coming to Earth, Gohan knew that he had to step up because his power was the best shot at defeating him. And now, with Vegeta and Broly on Beerus' planet, Gohan's the strongest person here, by a big margin too. And with the work he's put in, he knows he could win this. And due to how big of a threat Frieza is, he's not going to play around. He goes full power right off the bat. Another reason he's not playing around is because he's using Super Saiyan 3, and he can't really utilize that for too long. So he basically tries to hit Frieza with 100% power right away. And it actually is too much for Frieza to handle. It's not an insta-win for Gohan, but he makes it really quick and he does pull ahead. And especially after Frieza came back as Mecha Frieza, he knows he has to completely destroy Frieza and not leave any chance of that happening again. Gohan ends up winning this battle, killing Frieza and defending Earth. His potential and constant training has taken him this far, and Piccolo's really glad to see this. Gohan has really grown a lot. And with that, we'll leave off here for now. What do you guys think about this part? What's going to happen next? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel, and it shows me you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.